Alright, hello all. I'm TD, and I'll be running Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars any percent. We might as well hop right into it because it's a pretty long run. So, 3, 2, 1, and go. So as you notice right off the rip, we start the timer on the reset. And then as an extra part of that is we end the run when the credits end. And once we get to the credits, you'll notice the credits are about as long as some games speed run. It's about 11 minutes of credits, so we'll see how the night's going when we get that far. Let's start with the opening credit. There's gonna be a lot of cutscenes in the beginning, showcasing where the story's going. And like any Mario game, Princess Peach gets kidnapped, and let's see what happens. We hop right in the action. No introductions, no nothing. You just go and you're fighting. Dodge these terrapins. So during this little fight, you can do some manipulation, waiting for them to, certain frames and all that, so they attack less, but, they'll probably attack us 6 times here because I didn't do anything. I'm just mashing through. It saves a little bit of time if you're trying to make a really great run, but, we're just hanging out. So we did get punched as many times as possible, which is a little unfortunate. And then we're already on the Bowser fight. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, we're playing on the Japanese version because just in the text alone, it saves about 9 minutes. And here we don't actually fight Bowser, we fight the Chain Chomp behind him, because it's just holding up the chandelier he's on. And if you do try to attack Bowser, like if you're just playing a casual through the game, Peach will just repeatedly warn you, stop, please hit the Chain Chomp. So you're just not able to beat Bowser in that situation. But as you can tell, he does the same to you, and how long did it take me to recognize Japanese? I've probably been playing the Japanese version off and on for maybe like 3 months. And I could have been practicing a lot harder than I have been. I just kind of play the game, and if I make some terrible mistake, I just catalog it like, oh, like if I see those characters, don't do that. I haven't got to the point yet where I really want to sit down and, use flashcards. Been learning just through trial and error so far. And as you can tell right out of the gate, Bowser is not the final boss. Some terrifying creature drops from the sky, destroys a bunch of star-related things, and it's a sword with a mouth. So, I gotta figure out what that's about. have chat with Toad here and then try to run out of here. He's just questioning you, like, where's Peach? You should probably do something about that. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. He informs us there's a save file, so he's aware he's in a game. Then we try to go back and interact with the castle to see if we can figure out what happened with Peach. It turns out this giant sword can talk. So now we have to find a different way in as he pushes us out. Here we get to see how Mario interacts with people in the game. He never talks one time, but he pantomimes anything that just happened. So he's showcasing, the bridge got destroyed, I ran backwards. So it's really fun watching him have conversations with other characters in the game, because he just pantomimes what happened. Toad's trying to give us a tutorial. He's like, do you know how to use items? I'm like, well, yes. It's like, do you know how to fight things? We're vaguely aware. Because what he wanted to try to tell us is that there's timed attacks in this game. So whenever we're in combat, whenever we're hitting something with any spell or anything, if we hit a button at a specific window, it'll be stronger. And a smaller window inside that will do even more damage. So that's what makes the combat in this game so much fun. It's like there's always something to learn, get better at the timing, get better at the blocking. Yeah, it works the same with blocking. Most things, as long as they're not a spell, if a monster just, he auto attacks you, if you get your timing right, it'll take about half damage. But if you get your timing like a smaller window inside there, you'll take no damage. Hopefully I can showcase on the first boss here, which is Hammer Bros. So I got a good time attack there. I got a half block. Perfect. So we're splitting the damage between these two, because when one of them dies, the other one gets stronger. So we want to be able to one-shot the other one after he empowers himself. Fortunate. So someone will empower himself, but they only have 50 HP. I've done 43 or 45 to this one, so he's already taken care of. Just erupts in coins as we kill him. We take our reward. So before we continue the storyline, we gotta buy some items. So we're gonna sell an item that would give us more flower power, which is essentially magic in this game, but we don't need that much. Equip the hammer. Equip something that makes our jump stronger, and equip a shirt just for armor. Go down here. We need more FP. Grab that. And Dave showed me this trick. Normally you have to wait for this person to patrol all the way over here, and then you can grab this. I saw a clip of Dave's once where he's like, well, you can get this, I saw it in a task once. I was like, well, now I have to do it. Does it help at all? Not really. It's really cool, though. So here we're staying on Toad's head because there's a secret up here that you can only get at the start of the game. If you wouldn't have got on Toad's head there, you'll never get that frog coin ever again. Which is a different resource to the normal coins list. Buy some special items later. And I found in the route that I do, that extra flower we grab there's another spot in the game where it's kind of there's a bonus flower, and if I get it, it saves a little bit of time on a later fight in about an hour, where if I got both of these optional flowers, I can save one turn, whereas Again, it's probably not worth it in the long run, but dang is it fun to just try to grab that extra one. And as you can tell, Mario's just pantomiming what we just saw. Just a treat. As you try to leave, he just keeps talking to you, so you fall over. Walking outside here, we get introduced to everyone's probably least favorite character. Especially if you're Dave. Which is this fluff ball here. And I believe it's been a long time since I've played on the English version, but I'm pretty sure he's exclaiming that he lost or got something stolen by that crocodile, so he's sad. But that information might come up later. But right now it's good to know that when he cries, he apparently has the power to change the weather, so we already know something's up with him. So we decide to help him get back whatever got stolen, and that's going to be the first thing we do in the game. As you can tell, Mario pantomimes again, just like, did he look like this? Turns into a crocodile. It's like, oh yeah, he did look like that. Don't use your words, just you turn into him. So this creature's called Croco. So we're hunting down Croco for the first part. I'm gonna say it's not possible for me to die to this guy, so I'm not gonna save, but maybe I should. Nah. We're gonna say it's fine. And here we dodge this coin because it slows the game down a little bit if you grab it, and then it spawns more, so we're not doing that. I'll grab that hidden block there. It has call it Kiro Cola. Just heals your party to full and gives you back all your FP. But we need it more for selling later to buy some other stuff. Here, there's going to be a star in this, and we have to lets us instantly defeat creatures. Oh! Dang it. Well, shucks. So when you defeat something with a star, it resets your jump, so we could have jumped and grabbed that flower, but that didn't work out. Unfortunate, sir. We're trying to dodge most fights outside of bosses because there isn't really a reason to defeat any of them. So I tried to dodge that hound, and now we're gonna dodge all this and try to engage in this boss fight. So we have to get behind him 3 times, then it starts the fight. And he'll just go to a random spot each time here. Oh, okay. So this fight is normally pretty free, but he either will auto attack you or throw a bomb. Bomb you cannot block. And it will one-shot Mallow if he's not blocking. And it will do 24 damage to Mario if it hits him. Well, this is already not a great start. Hey, you know, that's fine. This is fine. Okay, this is not fun. So here we have to use 2 maple syrups, which return our FP, so we can keep jumping. So we're just gonna hope he doesn't throw another bomb. Sir. Alright, we're gonna have to recover from this. But that's why I buy all this extra stuff, in case this happens. Oh my gosh. Just anyone but Mallow. So if this happened in a regular run, you would probably reset. Because you can just block his regular autos. You know what, we're gonna say that's fine. You wouldn't do it twice, right? Yeah, you're right. Wow. Oh no, this is fine. If you get far enough in the fight, he heals himself, but then you get free 2 turns to attack him. And then even if he throws a bomb here, that's fine, because he'll die in one more time jump. And there we have it. We get back the item he stole, which is a frog coin. Which we already have one of those. Because we got the hidden toad one. That's taken care of. We head back to Mushroom Kingdom. I will save here though, because there's a non-zero chance I miss a skip that's about to happen. I'm gonna enter from the left side here, so we can just hold up and right, because as we get here, we notice the town has been taken over by Shy Guys on pogo sticks. Because why not? As we're gonna notice as the game goes on, most of these bosses and most of these enemies were crafted from nightmare fuel. They're all terrifying looking, and they just, at times, don't even feel like they exist in the Mario universe. Right, we're trying to skip this boss. Like, if we go right up the center, it starts the boss fight. Well, we messed that up. We're trying to jump on that Shy Guy's head on the far left. Because then we can hop over an invisible wall. And the Chancellor is in the back on the left. And if you just talk to him, the game just assumes you beat the boss. Again, I'm going to enter from the left here, because then it puts us on the left side of the town, so we just hold up and right, and we just dodge everything. You do kind of have to move to the right there a little bit. So this is an essential trick just to be able to do any of the routes of the game. If you can't do the max skip, which is the name of the boss right here, you can't really even do the speed run. So we're on his head. I'm trying to line my shadows up at the ground just right, hop over. And then the game just thinks you beat him. And as you can tell, Mac, the boss there, nightmare fuel. I don't know what he is. He's either on a pogo stick or a sword or... But everyone seems to be very okay that there's just Shy Guys in the room now. So here we're just going through what we should do next. Like, they're just describing what they should do next, and Mallow suggests we go visit Frog Fuchsius, his uncle. Because I don't know if he's been talked about it yet, but Mallow thinks he's a tadpole or a frog. So his uncle is a frog. So that's what we're gonna go visit next to figure out where we should go next. So now we can head through the sewers to get to the next part of the game. I'm gonna fight a Mimic over here. Just for the XP and the accessory it drops, we can vendor later. That's not fine. Ideally, you just want him to hit Mallow because Mario's just gonna be taking care of all these. Oh, this is fine. It's ideal he did that to Mallow, because if you'd done that Mario, because as you can tell, he's shaking, or Mallow's shaking, so he does less damage because he has the status ailment of fear. I don't think I need to, but we're gonna grab an extra flower over here, just to be safe. Grab a star here, feed as much as we can. If I'm really fast, I can grab this extra rat right here. So we drained all the water so we can move on. And we're on to our next boss fight. Balom, who also nightmare fuel. It can be a reoccurring theme of most bosses in this game. Ooh, I did not time that. That's not ideal. I was actually just gonna say, normally this fight's pretty straight. Oh, that's good. So that was sleep sauce. If that would have hit Mario, it would have been put to sleep. He would have skipped his turn, and then we'd have to wake him up using Mallow. Should have wasted a lot of time. Besides that, this fight's pretty straightforward. He'll always turn one person into a scarecrow, which is another status ailment. Just makes it so you can only use spells or block. You can't use items or attack. So if I try to hit A to attack or Y, it just blocks me out. Actually, what are we at here? And then make this boss even more terrifying is he just eats people. So now we have to save Mallow from him. Actually, because we got that, that extra Dave flower in that basement, I have enough to do 2 jumps here, so even though I mistimed something, I think it's fine now. It's because I got an extra jump in because of that. Perfect. Perfect. Mallow some attack. And we find out Balom was sitting on some sort of button as we rapidly try to save ourselves. Yeah, it does not work. And the game likes to throw in little mini games here and there, especially after each, quote, act. So here we're just going down a waterfall, getting to pick up coins, and it's just fun. They did a really great job keeping every moment of this game fresh. So you can go in these little caves and try to get extra flowers and stuff like that, but it is not worth the time in the run. Right now we're just trying to get about 60 coins. Well, I should say we need to get 60 coins or more, because at the end we'll get rewarded with a frog coin if we get 60 or above. And if we get exactly 60, we save one line of text where the guy just says, I'm taking your extras. But I'm not about that yet. I'm just going to grab as many as I can, because you can lose some along the way here. Fish are going to come flying at us and we don't dodge them. We just lose coins. And we need to not lose this frog coin. We missed one, that's fine. This is fine. That's why we grab extra. Yeah, we got 68. Perfect. Yeah. You come in from the right there to try to move the camera before this cutscene starts, but here we just get to see tadpoles and Mallow interact with them. Then we get to meet Frog Fuchsias. How much has my 330 changed for Marathon? I would say not at all, because we haven't got to the part yet where we get to utilize the super jump. But for people who don't know about that move in the game, you get this move. Mario gets a move called Super Jump and Ultra Jump, and you can keep doing it repeatedly about 100 times, 101 to be exact. And if you get 100, you'll get an item later in the game that makes Mario so strong that he just becomes a powerhouse. And if you can do that, that drastically changes the routes you can take. That's how you do the fast routes, like the really good routes. But for this one tonight, we're just going to do the 31 Super Jump route. And if we happen to get 100, that's fine. Because I more just want to showcase the intermediate route. If someone wanted to try to run this game, you don't have to do 100 jumps in a row, which is pretty tricky. Because as you keep jumping on an enemy, the frame window for being able to do another jump gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's about a 3-frame window from jump 13, I believe 101, when it forcefully stops you. So I'm just running my regular route, pretty much. I haven't had much time to practice, like, the advanced one, where you just assume you're going to get 100 jumps at some point, and then you cut every corner possible. Oh, we've been missing what's happening here, but he's about to inform Mallow he's not actually a tadpole, and that he's essentially adopted. But then he whispers to you, he's like, I notice he has spells. Please take him with you. He will help you. So now we're off to save the day with Mallow. Alright, we have to purchase some items. Find a froggy drink, which returns 30 HP to everyone in your party, only that for a boss fight later. And then we're gonna buy... We're using frog coins to this guy, so we're gonna buy 4 sleep bombs and 1 energizer. Sleep bomb just makes enemies go to sleep when there's certain bosses that are susceptible to it. And then the energizer is a one-time use on one of your people that ups their attack by 50%. So we'll abuse that for one fight coming up. Oh, I really need that coin. We're going back. Okay. There's nothing special in this area. This is just in between the Frog Pond and Rosetown. I think it's Rosetown. So we're just trying to get there right now. We're just getting through it. No bosses, just getting money. I'll notice in this area, we get a short cutscene showcasing that Bowser is still alive with all his army, and they are trying to retake back his castle. Which is kind of interesting that there's this side plot going on while you're trying to save the world. But we just ignore it and move on. We're like, they're probably fine. Now we're at Rosetown. As we can already tell, this town, something awful is happening. Everyone is frozen and arrows are raining from the sky. So we're buying 2 wake-up pins, which makes your character... It's an accessory that makes your character immune to sleep, which we'll need for a couple boss fights coming up here. Need to rob this guy real quick. If you hit that switch, a staircase forms outside and this man at the bottom comes running up and will ask you if you just stole all his things. And you can say no, but he's like, you were the only person here. I'm like, that's fine. This is a very wholesome cutscene where we get to see a child playing with Mario, Peach, and Bowser. As Mario has to watch himself get defeated. Oh, this is fun. So he asks you, are you really Mario? And you say no. You say, you got the wrong guy, because then it saves time. Yeah, this is a great run. This was one of my favorite games growing up, and I'm so happy I've had time to start speedrunning it. As we just thrash on this kid using his figurines. And it turns out he pulled out his Geno doll, shot a rocket at us, and now we are unconscious. We have a little about 70-second cutscene where we can watch this star come down and bring him to life. That's how we get our next character we're going to follow, which is Geno. It's always such a whimsical cutscene as he comes alive and he doesn't really understand how to walk and just kind of moves around and stumbles. So I'm gonna do it. Normally I wouldn't save here, but we're coming up to an area where we're gonna be farming some frog coins. And if it goes slightly wrong, we can die. And my last save is before Balom. I'll grab another Kiro Cola there for selling later. And here's where we farm. I didn't get there in time. So jumping on these wigglers enough times will give you a frog coin. We need to farm up 9 of them before we can move on in the game. Alright, 8 more. And accidentally getting into a fight with one of these, they are very strong. So if you are unable to run, you get unlucky and you can't run away, there's a high chance you'll die. 7 more. That's 5 more. I might have lost count. 4. I always have to say it out loud or else I'll just keep going on and on. 3 more. The movement's a little weird there. It moves you forward, but if they decide to take a quick turn right here, you might go flying off in the wrong direction. 1 more. Or right here where they decide just to go, just make a wave. Okay, should be good. I need to move on. And even if we didn't get enough, if I miscounted, we can always come back there. You know, we only lose 30 seconds, 45 seconds maybe. Grab a hidden block, get another frog coin. Just have to do our best to dodge everything getting through here. There's another Caracola back there. Then we piss off this Wiggler. And he opens the path for us. So there's a hidden block over here on the right, which will give us a red essence, which is a one-time use item that makes one character immune for a few turns. And we are definitely going to need that for a boss coming up. So now we're just trying to follow Gino through here. Which if you're fast enough, you can see where he's going. Otherwise, you kind of get lost. We're coming up on our next boss fight of another nightmare-fueled beast, which is a giant bow with googly eyes, and he's the one that's been terrorizing the town. And look at that, the stars we need. Oh yeah, his name's Boyer, probably because he's a bow. I probably should have mentioned that part as well. They just love having very interesting creatures in this game. And somehow, even though Mario and Mallow were, 2 stumps away from this whole battle happening, they apparently are just miles away. They slowed down time. Sure feels like it. So the strategy for this fight is because Mario and Mallow do not hit for that much, because we have skipped everything. We just have Gino take care of him with one of his spells. So we're gonna use that Energizer we bought, which ups someone's attack by 50%. And if it... Unlucky. So you might have noticed earlier in the game when I use an item, sometimes something you'll hear a noise, and what it means is it freebied, meaning it just reappeared back in your inventory. So there was a chance that Energizer could have freebied, which would have saved us time on a later fight as well. But now we just kind of... I'm gonna use one. one of these, get a little bit of FP back, because pretty soon he's going to block one of these buttons in front of him, which should be the X button. So that means we can't use items. So the gimmick of this fight is as you use attacks, blocks, whatever, it adds numbers to some hidden variable. And no matter, depending on what that variable is, after 2 turns, he'll block one of the numbers. So that's why we're blocking with the other 2 characters, to force X to always be blocked. But, you know, also it's because Gino hits like a truck. If I would have gotten both the Dave flower from the basement and also that, where I was trying to jump off that dog with the star, both the star active, I would have 9 FP right now, so I could just finish him off only with these Geno Blasts. But there's going to be 2 turns where I have to actually just auto attack him, which is unfortunate because he switches to blocking Y, which causes the moves he uses to change. And one of the moves he does is he could just put someone to sleep. And if he puts Geno to sleep, we are losing a lot of time. So I think we're down to 2 FP now, so now we just have to start punching him. Yeah, we're down to 2, so we just punch. So he's going to block Y here, and then we just hope he doesn't cast the spell that puts people to sleep, and then we hope it doesn't hit Geno. Perfect. Perfect. And that's Boyer. And Geno just carries. Because you get him fresh in this fight, so he's caught up to what, you know, people would, like what the game creators think how strong you should have been at this point. Instead, we have cut every corner with Mario and Mallow. So all this cutscene's going on, I can talk about. So you can't tell at the very moment, but in this speedrun, they do allow turbo. So there's so many cutscenes, and the game is so long, and turbo doesn't affect combat at all, because while I'm doing my timed attacks and all that in this, if I put my input in early, it locks you out, and then you miss the timed attacks. So having turbo doesn't really affect anything, but it does allow you to get through all these cutscenes faster. Kind of allows you to take breaks here and there, which every once in a while you'll get like a 2-minute cutscene, and then you can get up, stretch, relax. We got 2 stars. We notice one of his arrows gets away and says he needs to inform Smithy. But we don't know anything about him yet. And here we just move right on to Moleville, where the next star is located. Gotta buy some new items. So normally you'd buy an upgrade to Mario's attack, but in my run I'm really desperate for money. I'm gonna buy some work pants for everyone else, which is from here on out the only... everyone is just going to be wearing these work pants. Because compared to the other armors you buy in the game, like the character-specific ones, the character-specific ones just give you magic defense and defense, but work pants will give you, I believe it's an increase to speed, attack, magic attack. It's a small amount, but it gives you just pluses across the board, instead of just the 2 types of defenses. We see Bowser is failing as his army gets smaller. I am kind of tempted to save here. Probably should have on the way in. I don't know why I would lose any of these upcoming fights, but I've had crazier things happen in this game. So as what we're learning right here is there's 2 children stuck in the mines and no one knows how to get into them. They're saying, if only someone could hop up there. I wonder if someone could jump. And then they notice Mario. It's like, oh my gosh, he could jump. You gonna help us? Yes. Hop on this non-suspicious trampoline. Apparently we just hit a wall and are now unconscious. Croco returns. He robs of, I believe it's just of our money. So we definitely still have items right now. So we need to hunt him down again. And you physically have to hunt him down. Like, he will just keep running. So here we jump with Mario because there's a chance Croco can dodge an auto attack, but he won't dodge a spell. And we're really hoping he doesn't throw bombs again, but this is our luck. Just get Mallow up. Might as well keep the like, if he doesn't throw another bomb, it's just more DPS. Of course. This is fine. Gino is such a tank, he does not care. I think we phased him. So phase 2 of this fight is he takes all of your items, and now he stopped using bombs, but instead he'll throw an entire creature at you, which you can block. So it's a much better phase. Albeit if that creature does hit you and you don't block it, it's probably going to one-shot most of your team. Wonderful. Wonderful. So here, if we would have freebied that Energizer on Boyer, this fight would go way faster, because, again, Gino would just be tearing it up right now. Wait, oh, I still had FP. Could have ended the fight a turn earlier. Is Croco the one who can dodge an attack? I feel like Valentina has dodged one of my attacks before. But Croco definitely is the only one that it ever matters. Try to dodge all this, get through. So Croco did drop an item, I think it's just called a bomb, and that's what we use here, is this guy's wondering how to get through here, and if you defeat Croco, you get this bomb, and it clears the path. Mallow? That's a good question. Mallow. I think I say Mallow. Okay, so here we get another star. We're trying to hit as many of these as we can. Ideally, we hit all of them. Sometimes they're in a bad position. Like this guy. And then here. Nice. We got every single one we could have. We still need to go back into that previous room. There was that chest, and it has a lot of money in it. Oh. Wonderful. Coming up to one of my favorite designed bosses. Some more nightmare fuel. So his name is Punchinello. He has knives for hands, a wick for a head, clown shoes, and a maw for a mouth. And he's called Punchinello. I don't know. Oh yeah, did I mention his mouth is filled with bombs? So there's not much to this fight. We just keep attacking until he falls over. All the bomb attacks and his auto attacks are blockable. So we're not ever in too much danger as long as we hit all our blocks. But he can cast Sandstorm. That's the only thing we're trying to not have happen. Which is a spell that affects my whole party and makes them feared, which means they do less damage. We just don't want to see that. Everything else, fine. And every time we do enough damage to him, he phases and sends out scarier bombs. Oof. No. Pretty sure he's, one turn away from dying and he decided to Sandstorm. I feel like I'm just going to attack through it. Just believe. Normally you'd use some Able juices that we bought at the beginning of the game, which just removes status ailments. Wonderful. After his third phase, he's just talking, but the fight is over. He tries to summon more bombs and nothing happens. Unless this happens. What a way to go. And then what a way for us to go. But we miraculously live and also find a star. I might have glazed over it when we were finishing our fight with Boyer, but I believe Gino explains that the star road's broken, and that's why he has come down to collect all these stars to repair it. So now that's what we're on the journey to do, is find all the stars. Now we get to move on. And what we notice back here is those children they were worrying about at the beginning of the mines. We found them. And if I'm not mistaken, one of their names is Dinah, and the other one is Might, which is adorable names for moles that work, like whose family works in a mine. And then we get a fun little minigame before just cruising through the mines. All we can do is jump, brake, use these boosts, and also we get a horn, I guess. Don't want to take these corners too fast or else you go flying off the tracks. I could have boosted there. Oh, that's the wrong button. Ah. Well, I missed those 2 mushrooms. Probably not the best. So ideally we'd have a mushroom through that whole part, but you know, we just lose a couple seconds, so that's fine. Never too worried about the time losses I get here. I know my whole run in its entirety needs to be cleaned up before I'm starting to worry about a few more seconds here and there on this. Excuse me, I heard my brakes. I heard my brakes again. I'm trying to remember what the task time for this little mini game is. If it's like 155, 156. I think my personal best for this is about 204, 205. So even with all those mistakes, you know, it was only 12-second difference. Yeah, Mario. It's essentially Mario Kart. Just a different type of kart. So we return the children, now we get to head out. Now we get a quick cutscene of the underlings of my favorite character in the game, which is the underlings of, I believe they say it here, but his name's Booster. And they're trying to catch a beetle for Booster. And we happen to get stuck in the middle of it. And that's where we're off to next, is visit this man. There's a hidden frog coin in this bush. Grab that. That was a rock candy that we got from that hidden block. It's an item that you use once that just does 200 damage to everyone on the 200 damage to all the enemies. And now we've noticed Bowser has lost his whole army. And we just see him crying looking at Booster's tower. Which is where Peach is. So that worked out perfectly. They are the English names. I could say the only item I know the Japanese, well, like the direct translation of the Japanese name to the English name is of the work pants. And multiple people have told me that translates, if you translate exactly what it says, very literally, they're just called dirty pants. And I'm like, I could see that. You know, they're work pants, so of course they're dirty. Bowser has allowed us to join the Koopa Troop, which means he just joined us. So now we have him as a usable character. Some of my favorite platforming in this game is trying to get through Booster's Tower. Great music and a great just atmosphere. And here he is, the man. As you can tell, he's T-posing in 1995, so I think he knew too much. Because it's a marathon, you can watch this scene. So, where'd he go? He's vaguely aware he's not that whimsical. I'm gonna hit this. It changes something up in an area we've already gone by. If we go in that curtain back there, it puts us in like original Mario, like Mario 1 graphics for just that room. I'm gonna save in case something goes wrong. There's a few parts in here. If you would have memorized the order of the pictures at the beginning, in the foyer, you can open up that door. Which in there is a weapon for Bowser. Which we don't need, because Bowser's already a beast. Ugh, we need that. No! Okay, I'm gonna soft reset, because we're trying to get our... We haven't got to the part to showcase it yet, though. But we're trying to have our XP at a very specific spot. Because we're going to do a trick later that allows us to teach spells to someone else when they level up together. It just means I get to do this part again. So these are mostly booby traps. That's what we're trying to avoid. Those are zoom shoes. It's accessory that I believe it just gives you 10 speed. So you can force one of your characters to go earlier. Without the Canadian accent. True. Here you can either stay there and get hit by the bomb, or you hide behind the thing on the right, but he always gets sad no matter what you do. And then we keep going. So we're gonna hop up here. That was a goodie bag. Item that you use in combat. I believe it just gives you 1 coin, but it works infinitely. What we want it more for is we can sell it for a lot of money. Foyer. I could not tell you. I will say my English is not the best. So here we're trying to hide from Booster, who's gonna explain to his gang of Sniffits they want to reenact the marriage that he's about to have, or he wants to act out the marriage he's about to have with Peach. So he gets this far and he goes, I know Mario's gonna ruin it though. Let's find the Mario doll to show what's gonna happen when Mario ruins everything. If you look at that chest over on the right, you can see a Samus figurine as well, which I always think is a nice Easter egg. So here we just gotta keep hiding from the Sniffits. And as long as we beat this minigame, we don't have to fight Booster. But if you mess it up, I think you get 2 tries. If you mess up once, it just starts from the beginning and you gotta try it again. But as long as you don't mess up, you don't have to fight him, and he also gives you an accessory called the just Amulet, gives you, I think it lowers your speed but ups your defenses and makes you take half damage from elemental attacks, which is really strong. So I think they move, yeah, there we go. Smash Brothers confirmed. This was out in 95, before all of them. So even though he sees you here, he notices the little Mario up there, and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't get it. What do we do? So booster breaks down, but you save the day. Oh, at lower speed, but everything else gets boosted? That would do it. So here, the password to this door is the same as the save file, which makes me think Booster is the strongest character in this game because he's very aware he's in a video game. So we give Mario this amulet. Oh, that's not amulet. This is amulet. So there is a trick you can do here where you can try to do some rock candy manipulations. So this rock candy we have will just always freebie. I've never practiced it, so we're just going to do the fight normally. So in the fastest runs, you just throw the rock candy and it freebies every time, and you just line it up with audio cues. So you're trying to terrorize both of them, which gives them the fear debuff, so they take more damage. Hope that was enough. Oh, that would be why then. 96. I always just see the trademark of 95. I'm like, it's probably 95. So I didn't mention it all in this fight, but I'm convinced these are very nightmare-fueled bosses as well, because that guy on the left is just called Knife Guy, and it is a clown with knives. They're scary on their own. And there we have it. So here's where we get our next minigame. We'll be running up Rose Hill, I believe it's called, or Mary Hill. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've been on the English version. So we're going to be jumping on Sniffets and also on barrels to try to get to Peach and Booster. And every time we get there, we get 1 FP. Like permanent upgrade of FP. So it's always fun to try to guess how many you think you're going to get. I think max is 16. I believe my average is 9, so I always just guess a 9. I'd guess less now. Excuse me? Rude. Ideally, you just want to get as many as you can just to make the rest of the game that much easier. No. 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 Please. No. Nope. I was not counting. We're gonna hope it's 9. 10? 10 with a... Oh. Sure. Amazing. So now we're trying to save Peach by breaking up this wedding. But they locked the front door, so we have to find a different way in. And then we surprise this sniff, and he's like, oh my god, that's Mario. And he tries to run away, and the door's locked. So we have to help him out. Yeah, I don't know how I can... Like, I feel like the game on that booster hill just... It's like it rubber bands me to 9 or 10. We're saving here because this boss fight we're about to do is a mess. It's a lot of RNG in this next fight. Yeah, the fight that's coming up, for those who don't know, is that cake that we just saw in the basement as we were running in may or may not come to life. Because they may or may not have cooked that also with Nightmare Fuel. But we have a little mini game here. We have to get back all of Peach's items that went flying. So we have to... There we go. To catch all of them. And the faster you go, you might get a reward. Yeah, this cutscene is, quote, better the faster you go. So I did it as fast as we could, so you'll see the outcome. But I honestly think that should be Booster there. If you go too slow, you'll get either Bowser, Booster, or both. But as we can tell, Booster's over there T-posing and kissing Bowser. Which is a power move all by itself. And here's the cake. So we're trying to leave and they are not happy that no one's having a wedding. Nice. So we're trying to do enough damage to this cake where we phase him. Because right now we're just fighting Tort, which is the name of the guys on the side. We're trying to do just enough damage where we phase him on after Geno's next attack. Because in his next phase, the 5 candles on his head light up. No matter how much damage you do to him, just each attack puts 1 out. You need to put them all out. So that's why here we're going to use that red essence. Make Mario immune for a few turns. So he can actually survive the onslaught because he is very underleveled. And if we get a good attack here... Oh, I hope that was good enough. Yep, nice. So Tord is just like, I saw it come alive. And the other guy's like, you did not see it come alive. It is not moving and breathing. Even though it has giant eyes. Why did we make it like this? And now here is, we're just hoping he doesn't do any silly attacks. Because he has some awful hits. Perfect. If he auto-attacks, great news. Everyone here is immune to being put to sleep, so that is a wonderful outcome. So as long as he does not KO anyone here... Okay, well, we didn't block that. I wasn't mentally prepared for this. Not Gino. Well, you know, you win some, you lose some. So we have to do one more attack after we put out the last candle. So we could pick Gino up here for more damage, but let's get this. Let's get him phased. So if we do damage to him after we put out the 5th candle, it'll go down to just being the bottom half. No, this is the move you don't want to see. Rip. So here you can try to able juice everyone and just hope he doesn't sandstorm again. I think Dave has first-hand experience about how many sandstorms one team can eat. Because if he just keeps doing that, you're just having a bad time. Oh, that's very fortunate. Also very fortunate. Oh my gosh, we did it. We did it without losing too many people. That fight is terrifying, because if you just repeatedly cast Sandstorm and everyone's feared all the time doing half damage while you're trying to recover from it, he can just do Sandstorm 5 times in a row, which I think happened on Dave's first streamed run. It was quite the sight to behold. I didn't know luck could... I just didn't even know that could happen. So I might be wrong in what's happening right now, but I think Booster's wondering what happens, like how does a wedding end? And they just say, well, you just gotta eat the cake, and then the wedding ends. And he's like, okay. He's like, but it moved, I don't want to eat it. He's like, it's fine, you're just hallucinating. He's saying it tastes wonderful, so he's crying. And now his entire gang congratulates him on a successful marriage. And then they just leave. Excellent. Yeah, Dave experienced 17 sandstorms in a row. It was actually a work of art. There, we only got one. But he can sandstorm in the phase where there's both his head and body is alive. So everyone is just getting... It's just a bad time. So now we got Princess Peach back, so now we have to return her home. And now we save this couple's wedding. And the game forcibly takes you back to Mushroom Kingdom to return Peach. You don't have a choice. So now, gotta run in here. So that coin we got from that first fight with Croco, we're going to give it to this man. and then in return we get a cricket pie to give to Frog Fuchsius, which we need to continue the storyline. You lose some time if you ran down here and did it previously when we're already going to run by that building right now. And then we just get a cutscene of them being so happy that Peach has arrived. And then we try to figure out what's going on next. But they're about to be in for quite the surprise to realize that now Bowser is just in our amorphous mass. Would I eat a cricket pie IRL? I don't know. I don't know what crickets. Maybe they're protein heavy. So here they're just pantomiming out the story that just happened with the sword, the stars, where Geno came from, why Bowser is now here. Peach here is just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go lay down. It's good to be back. Again, I could be getting bits and pieces of the story wrong, but that's vaguely what's going on. As we have to go off, save the day, Peach went back to her room. Just kidding. Also, bye. If you run in and out of the building, she just immediately just falls to the ground. So our characters are equally as lost as we are, so Mallow suggests we go visit Frog Fuchsius. Because he's just so smart. So one of these, I think it's the blue toad down here. One of the things we got from fighting the first Croco was a wallet, so we could give that back to him and we get a frog coin, but I'm actually just going to vendor it later, because I need more money. I have enough frog coins. Okay. So we give him the cricket pie. He gives us... I could be wrong. I think it's called a cricket stick, which is a weapon for Mallow. The thing is, we should have had it. Like, if you're doing a casual playthrough, you would have gotten that the first time through here, so now it's just a really old item. It's worse than the symbols. He informs us we can now go to Star Hill, which opens up a new path. And then we're just going here to pick up a few items. This is the path that opened up when we hit that green exclamation switch in Booster's Tower. Got a flower, frog coin, and a Kira Cola we're going to vendor later. We should be at 22 frog coins. We're hoping and praying. It's probably one of my favorite zones in the game. Even though there's not much going on here and it's very quick, it's just very whimsical. Geno is informing us this is where all wishes go. So if you interact with those stars that have smiley faces, it'll read out someone's wish that's actively in the game. So there's some interesting ones. Ooh, that's not good. I feel like there's one that says something along the lines of like, I wish I was more like my brother or something, and you get the you get the feeling that it's from Luigi. And there's another one that causes a response from your party. I think it's something along the lines of like, I wish I wasn't such a crybaby. I wish I was braver. And then Mallow comes out. He's like, why are you reading that? You're like, I don't know. Just have to hit all these flowers and it keeps opening up the next area. And look at that. Wonderful. We just get a quick free star. And then we're done with Star Hill. And then right out of the bat, when we go to this town, everything is creepy and terrifying. The music's off. This guy's explaining, I believe that's the village chief, and he's just saying like a star fell in the ocean. Go get it for us. And here we have exactly, this is we're using frog coins to buy an XP boost, which whoever you give it to will double how much XP that person gets, and we're going to abuse that later in the run. Second. So we're just trying to vendor a bunch of stuff, because this shop will not be around forever. So we're buying up a bunch of consumables that we can use to fight with. I'll explain them after I get everything sold. Oh, I might have sold too much. Yeah, we're probably fine. Oh, actually, we got I didn't even notice that extra. Got an extra flower jar from that Croco we previously fought. Excellent. XP boost to Mario. We're gonna be selling pretty much anything that's not useful. I'm just gonna double check. XP boost got saved, Amulet got saved, and Zoom Shoes got saved. Sell everything else, and we just buy extra ice bombs. So what we bought there is about one poison mushroom, which just puts a dot, or like does a little bit of damage to an enemy and puts a dot on them, or they take damage every turn. We bought a fright bomb, which puts the fear, like does a little damage and puts the fear effect on someone, so we can do more damage to them. Bought 6 fire bombs, which we can use to just do a bunch of damage to the enemies. Then we bought a bunch of ice bombs, which the same as fire bombs, but a little stronger. And here's where that trick I was talking about earlier, where we need to swap our characters with a star like so. So I'm swapping them while I'm mid-air. So now Peach is going to learn a spell of Mallow's. As long as we hit all these stars. Excellent. Perfect. Because we're going to learn very quickly that Mallow he's just not a good character. We want all of his good spells on someone else. So here it says that's a picture of Peach, but Peach was level 9 before, so this is actually Mallow's level up. And then this is actually Peach, because Peach was level 9 before, but it's showing Mallow. So we just taught Peach the Shocker spell, which is just a giant lightning bolt comes down and just fries someone, and it's a lot of damage. More dots. Yes. I think that's the only way to apply a dot in this game is the Poison Mushroom. We're going to use a Fight later on. So now we're trying to find that star that's in a haunted sunken ship, because why not? So there's all these rooms on the side here, which if you're playing casually will give you hints towards a puzzle coming up, but we know the solution to the puzzle, so we're skipping all that. Bought a new weapon for Bowser. I just gotta make sure I get these equips right. On Zoom Shoes. We want XP boost on Mallow, because we're gonna need him to be a little stronger for just 2 fights coming up. And then if you just hold up and right here, you just dodge this guy at the edge, or end here. So if you would have got all of the hints, that would help you solve that. Whoa, we got it wrong somehow. Whoa. Like I missed one on that first one. Excuse me? So I'm supposed to hit this one 4 times. Oh, I only hit it 3, that's why. Searles, Pearls? In the English version, the answer to that is pearls. Couldn't tell you what it is in this, though. So here we're going to put all those fire bombs to use to just cruise through this boss. And then we hope they freebie. Bonus. And then for some reason that tentacle on the right just has a little bit more HP. Which works out great, because then Bowser gets to start first on this next phase. Because we used a Geno boost on him, so his attack is 50% higher, which works on items. So his bomb throw here hits harder. And throw one more and we're done. King Calamari is taken care of. I have asked that same question, why it's in English. There's just parts of this game that are in English, I don't know. Oh, nice. Mallow hit 8, which means we don't have to fight an extra monster on the way to the next boss. We need him to be 8 to take care of this little, like, forced fights we're about to have to run into. There's a mimic in that chest. We are not about that. Oh, these guys love to just like home in on you. Oh. So there's a hidden room back here with a really strong accessory. Safety. Yeah, 1 second. This is where I always mess up some equips. It's the safety ring. Peach and Mallow. We need Zoom Shoes on Mallow because he needs to attack. He's a very slow character, so we need him to go second in these upcoming fights. Ooh, I looked down at chat for a second and missed my jump. Here's the fights we're forced to go into. They're sharks with spears. that is why we need Mallow at 8 and being able to go second. We just clean house right there. Spears with sharks. True. So true. So we have to deal with them one more time. So after this, we're coming up on a boss fight where you would normally just super jump him to death. But, you know, I'm not the most consistent with doing 100 of those yet, so even if we just get 30, that's fine. We're showcasing you don't have to be insane right now. But if we do get 100, that'd be a nice bonus. I'm gonna go back down and grab this chest. It just refills our HP and FP. Switch out to Bowser, and now you will never see Mallow for the rest of the run. He's done. Yes, that is a shark with a trident drinking wine. He's a sleep bomb. It turns out all of his minions can be put to sleep, which saves us a lot of hassle. That's a freebie on something we do not need. Now I just have extra Fright Bomb. So we're not going to super jump yet, because when you get him about half HP, he powers up and has more armor. So I'm just going to, even if I mess up, I kind of want to one-shot him, so I'd rather get him a little lower. Alright, let's give her a go. Nope, that was only 19. Yeah, here he powers up. It's a little more annoying. Think we have to sleep bomb here again. So he's going to be significantly tankier, but as long as we don't want to kill his underlings, we don't want to deal with them. Also, when he enrages like that, he has no underlings, he'll take Mario into a one-on-one, and we do not want that. Well, we did it. Now the run is wide open. So if you do 31 jumps, I say 31 because the game doesn't count the first one. If you do 31 jumps, we'll get an accessory in a town coming up that just makes Mario significantly stronger. But if you get 101, you get an armor for him as well that makes him just also a monster. So combining the two, Mario just turns into just a tank. Technically, says Dave. Actually... get this right. Okay. I think, yes, this is correct. So we don't get to abuse the fact that we got all those jumps yet. We have to get to a later town, because now that we have that star piece, we have to go visit the town that was telling us, yeah, please go get that for us. And here they are. So they demand the star. You can say no here, but they'll just keep asking it to you over and over and over again, and there's no way to escape that. You have to give it to them. But you'll get less of a reward if you keep saying no. You know, we're just going to save because it's a marathon, and I'm very happy about the, getting 100 jumps. Because now it's not just a run, it's the whole run's a victory lap now. We're having a blast. So here they say, their ride isn't here. And they're just going to make us run for it by swimming, but Jonathan Jones is being a nice guy. Because we bested him by just jumping on him so many times that he turned to dust. And here is a giant creature made of spears, because why not? Now we get to utilize Peach's new spell she took from Mallow. If we time it, it should do 243. If we don't, it's 202. So that was good, we got 243 there. This creature is full of good points. True, true, true. So true. So we're going to keep boosting everyone here. It's going to be a theme from here on out that you just keep giving everyone 50% defense and 50% attack. Heal everyone back up and return all our FP. And Peach is just our carry now. So he's wearing the safety ring, which makes him immune to status ailments and elemental attacks, so he just gets to have a good time with that one. So we freebeat a lot of fire bombs, so we should be fine. We have a lot of ice bombs, so I don't even think we have to worry about freebies here for this run. This route that I'm running is very lenient on how many freebies you need. No, only 202, shame. Yeah, I'm not sure how many save files are in the English version. I want to say it's 4. So we're going to use that froggy drink that we had saved, that we bought at the beginning, at the first time we went to Tadpole Pond, or Frog Pond. Oh, wonderful. So here he does a Mirage attack, which means he just splits. But what the game does is whichever character, like if you try to do an attack or a spell, whichever one it just defaults to is the correct one. Which doesn't really matter, because we're just going to throw more things at him. So Mallow levels up here, and sorry to say, we'll never see him again. So he gets to just bulk and get as much HP as he can, because I don't want to hit left or right. I lose time. Grab a key. There's a note up there that says Jonathan Jones, just saying like, yeah, you look like you had it. We left. Here's where we save all the townsfolks. So if we would have said no when we were trying to give that star back when we first entered this town, the village elder would give us less. But because we said yes right away, he gives us I believe it's a flower box, which we can sell for 500. Which would, if we just use it, it gives us 5 max flower points, but we don't need any more. We're doing great. Stand on that guy's table as I chat with him. Right. Let's buy a new weapon for a few people. Gino and Mario. Oh yeah, we don't equip here. Gotta sell our excess mushrooms. Where is it? And sell that flower box. We're gonna need some money coming up. So the village elder told us there's apparently a star in Monstro Town. So that's where we're off to now. Got another red essence hidden there. So depending on how long you are in these, it shoots you less far. So if you go in that hole, a bunch of hounds come out. I don't want to deal with them. I'm here to go fast. Oh, well, this is not fast. It's the opposite of fast. No. If you just land on these at the right angle, they'll always kind of line you up right. But apparently I don't do that. It's a little mini game here. If you talk to him and pay money, he'll go over here and shoot bullet bills at you, and if you get across, you get bonuses, but I don't have time for that. Throw another save on. So we're trying to get to Monstro Town, but we gotta follow these ants with axes. Let's see what we have. So we have 2 extra fire bombs. Let's use those first. We only need 1 for later in the game. Let's use those up. Immediately run from bee. Correct. Those bees are terrifying. So whichever one of these sand pits that has the ants in it is the correct one. But it has to be the one they were just actively defeated in. Okay, if this isn't freebie, we switch to ice bombs. We just have to have 1 fire bomb for later. So, don't mind if I do. Sorry, I have to look at my level up list. Oh, get over. I don't trust him. I always think he's gonna go to the other one when he's about to time out. So I'm like, I'm not going to combat with that guy. No, we've been really well, like just eating well with freebies. This route I'm running though, I think you only need 1 freebie to make it work. Like it's very accessible. Wait, we got an extra firebomb. You know what? Let's use that too. Don't mind if I do. I don't even know what to do with all of them. I don't think it matters. So here we're going to abuse the fact that if you use a star and you get XP, and then you die, you'll go back to your previous save with all the XP you just accumulated. So we're going to do some death abuse right now. So I save here, took all my items off because we're going to use these stars. And then after we accumulate a ton of XP, we die, go back, do it again. So we got to keep one of these hounds alive. So I just have to barely tap the bottom one, like so. Now we're just going to be rolling in levels. Oh, Mallow? Shame. Only HP. This man, there's a shaman back here, and he says, I'll give you a star for 400. You're like, oh, a star? That's what I'm trying to get in my adventure. Turns out it's just a star. As a kid, I was so excited when I read that. I was like, he's going to give me a star? I need those to beat the game. And then I never had 400. So we're gonna go back up, fight that hound, and lose. But as we go up here, we notice the hound is just staring down in the pit, watching the just mayhem that was occurring. I always thought that was a nice little treat. So if we defeat this hound, and then hit the ant with an axe, the ant with the axe will enrage, and you'll pretty much one-shot everyone. So that's why we do that, just make it go a little quicker. Sometimes you get lucky and you'll get 2 of these ants. Because you want to die as fast as possible. I'm just attacking because I don't want to block in case I live an attack. I want no one to live. So I think Peach has very low HP, so we can block. Yeah, she's not going to live anything. This is still going to hit for 100. So it'll take us back to the last save point, and we get to run this all again, but we get to keep all the levels we just got. This will be my last time doing the death abuse, so we're going to take care of these all of the hounds on the top. Perfect. We're also going to do that swap glitch again, because we want to get Peach one of Gino's spells now. So after I get this, like right when I activate this next star, we're going to flip Gino and Peach. So I just have to jump and open menu at the same time. Swap them, and as long as we hit all this stuff in here, should get a level up on the last one. Yep. We're good to go. And we should see Gino, but that's actually Peach. And she learned a different spell. We're good. Oh, sorry, Mallow. That cloud flying around up there was like a, I don't know, you'd call it like a hidden mini boss. He just kind of shows up in these areas. I'm not gonna fight him though. Pay this guy. I think this is just telling your fortune, so we want to hit them in a certain order. Get a fortune, lets us move on. So here we get another fortune. We're looking for a very specific one. And I believe that's it. So it either says I'm sleeping right now or I'm hungry. Oh, it's good we didn't go into combat first. Because we need to swap. That would have been real bad. Because no one has any items equipped, really. And our terrifying creature, Balom, is back. So we can try to super jump him to death as well. This if you don't super jump Jonathan Jones, this would be the other spot. And I might just do it because I can. And we freebeat a Fright Bomb before, so I'll just throw one at him. Okay, cool. Oh no. So the new move he has this time is he'll eat people, but instead of just, they're just out of commission for a little bit, he makes copies of them, which might even be more terrifying than just eating someone. I'll just keep trying to jump him. Ah, wonderful. Mallow would not be able to fight himself. You're correct, Dave. 13. Looks like HP. Oh, we've officially made it to Monstro Town. Let's go collect our rewards. Here's the guy. He's like, how many times you jump? You jumped 100? Impressive. Talked to him once, he gave us a tack scarf, which is the accessory, and then he gives us the super suit. The chief is telling us, I was like, oh, you're looking for a star? Oh yeah, that's upstairs. And then we've been bamboozled. He's like, I don't mean that star. Anything but that star. So now we're getting the help of the Sky Troopers to be able to climb a mountain that was in the previous zone we were at. I never went into that area because I was always fighting those ants with axes and going down holes. But if we would have skipped that, we would notice there's a mountain we can't climb. So now we can climb it with their help. And we paid that shaman at the beginning of this 100. I want to say we gave him 100 coins to let us use that trampoline that he was just living on. That trampoline is how you get out of here quickly. So we're going to utilize all of these Sky Troopers to try to climb this. And I need to do it fast enough to get an accessory. So just got to get it under 12 seconds, which I'm feeling pretty good about. Was it 10:50? 11:15. Sure. So I gave us the Troopa pin, which gives whoever has it equip a lot of speed and ups their defense and attack by 50%, I want to say, similar to being boosted. Alright. And that's what this, if you look at those stats, that's the super suit. 55, boom. So now we have just a hulked out Mario. Let's make sure these equips are correct. I'm in no rush. Not ideal. Also not ideal. So we're trying to climb up to Nimbus Land right now. So this fight's going to go a little wonky because the route I'm running assumes Mario is not attacking first each turn, but right now he's hulked out. He hits like a truck. Because we're running the attack scarf route, not the super suit. But we're gonna win. We're gonna win very hard. So here. So at this point I'm kind of ad-libbing it, because in the normal route, again, it's assuming everyone attacks in a very specific order. But Mario kind of just gets to do whatever he wants right here. Because normally you would phase here with Mario's turn coming up next, then you can defeat all three of these that are about to pop up. But I believe it's their turn right now. So this is the ultra jump. It's just like the super jump, a little stronger, but just randomly hits people. And we just need to hit each of them twice. How'd I pull that off? Well, we did 100 jumps earlier, so we have the super suit, which is just a really strong armor. So I think we can just block here. So here's where extra ice bombs normally come into play. Normally that would turn everyone into mushrooms, which makes them unable to act. But because we have Safety Ring on Bowser, which makes him immune to status ailments, and Mario has Super Suit, he is also immune to status ailments. So we just kind of ignore what just happened to Gino. Yeah, he hits very, very, very hard now. And Mario is a monster right now. And then because I'm running it on the attack scarf route, I have extra levels that I probably wouldn't have if I was abusing the super suit. I don't want to run into that guy. So we're extra strong right now. Like definitely too strong. But I'm okay with that. So now we're trying to climb up to get to Nimbus Land. Am I fighting the Final Fantasy monster? No, that's just a hidden monster. Yeah, there was a locked room in Monstro Town where if you had a certain item, you get to go in there, and there's a special hidden boss in there, but we aren't doing that. Just finishing the story. So here in Nimbus Land, you start to notice everyone kind of looks like Mallow. And then she even says, "Prince Mallow, please come out." Which is, you know, something's wrong. So now you're starting to put two and two together, where this person says, because the king and queen are sick, Prince Mallow, which apparently is this giant bird, he's giving all of the kingdom to this woman. But Mallow doesn't understand. He's just like, that's cool. That's neat. I'm just gonna buy some mushrooms and some syrup for safety. New weapon for Mario, new weapon for Gino. Swap their accessories for what's about to happen. Now we starting to put 2 and 2 together. This sculptor is saying that is the young version of what the king used to look like as a statue. And now we have to pantomime what happened in the last 2 hours of our life. So now we get to watch a wonderful cutscene of us being turned into statues and being snuck inside. Here we almost get caught, but the sculptor, he's like, it's a work of art. It's supposed to look like the average working man. I call it plumber's lament. And she's like, wow, that is art. I want it. And there we have it. She's telling Dodo to go clean the statues, and he is not happy about it. As you notice how he responded to the previous statues he saw, as he just started hitting them with his beak. We're in for a little minigame. I always think this minigame is so well made. The music will go along with what's happening. And if you mess up this minigame twice, you have to fight Dodo. But if you do it successfully, you'll get an accessory in this room, which is just a feather. Gives you 20 speed. But it just cracks me up that Dodo is also aware that he's in a video game like Booster, where he just stares at the screen like, do you see that? Can you believe? It's probably my second favorite platforming section. Well, I'll call it platforming. You can be just right behind Booster's tower. You just gotta dodge everything. But not like that. Please. So ideally we would have just hopped over that guy with the fork. Thank you. So we found all the people being held prisoner. That guy gave us a flower box, I want to say. Which we're going to use it to sell later. Or actually, we're just going to use it for actual extra FP later. Just to be safe. If you're going for the fastest routes, you wouldn't even pick that up. Dodge these guys. You can kind of sneak... Ooh, you can kind of sneak by that guy. We get our next boss fight. So we walk up to this egg, it asks us if we want to play, and we say yes. The first phase is just breaking it out of the egg. And it was Birdo. I forgot I block with the other two characters here. Only Mario really does damage in this fight. The rest are kind of fodder. That we can hit, though. Then we get the key to move on. So here, if you line Mario's nose up with a spot on the ground and kind of jump and move at the... There we go. You can hop over that guy. Otherwise, he'll push you off. You go flying down and have to run back around. Here, if you line up over here and just hold up and right. Oh, he has Psychopath? Is that what it's called? The Mallow has an ability where he reads the mind of the enemy and it'll tell you how much HP they have. Which always gives fun little Easter eggs. Because you'll read the mind of someone and it'll give you whatever they're thinking. If I recall, if you do it on Booster, I believe, he says something along the lines of like, isn't it crazy you read my mind or something? I forgot what it was, but it's something where he is very much aware he's in a video game. Which adds more fuel to my theory that he just is the strongest creature in this game. So now here we have to hunt down Valentina and Birdo. I'm gonna save in case something goes wrong. I think we're making very good time, especially with Super Suit. We're cruising. Sir? Sir? You've built a wall of bird. See here, Birdo was too slow, so we get to take care of him like that, or else you have to fight him. Not Birdo, Dodo. His name is just Dodo. So here we get to do the Valentino fight. So at the start of the fight, Dodo's going to take away your middle party member. That's where we get to utilize that poison mushroom we bought back in Seaside Town for this one-on-one. This can go wrong if I miss some attacks, though. Wonderful. Great start. He just silences us. That's fine. So I think I have an extra firebomb here, so I freebeat so many that I just don't know what to do. You should only have one. You wouldn't need to use it on this fight, but you know what? I'm not messing around. So here you can get lucky and she'll just auto-attack you. Just, you don't have to watch all these spells then. Or you just have to watch all of them. Perfect. So I'm pretty sure I forgot to put that better weapon I bought for Gino on him, but I don't think it's going to save that much time, if any. Mario is just so hulked out right now. As long as we keep hitting our timed attacks on that on Mario, this fight's going to be over in no time. It's already over. Bowser gets relegated to Mallow tier. We won't be using him from here on out. I always thought this was a nice little scene. So he gets the key back to go save his parents, which are the king and queen. And if you remember from early in the game, whenever he cries, it rains. You're like, oh, that's sweet. So there's no star to be had here, but I think they're informing us it's in the volcano that's below them. So that'll be our next location. I will say, I do enjoy the storyline in this game. I'm gonna go out the same way. Because there won't be a star back here anymore. It'll be just extra FP. So there's been a hot spring here the whole time. We could have explored and saw this, but they say only royalty can go down here. But now that we've beaten everything, we found out Mallow is royalty. We can get into it. I'll make some swaps now, so I don't have to worry about it. It's a small change I have to do to my route, where normally Mario is missing just a little bit of HP, so I put the XP boost on him for a star we're about to get. We'll switch back to Attack Scarf after. Should be fine with Super Suit though, like he's a monster. We didn't even level up there, we didn't even need it. There's one more fight we can't avoid coming up, and I'm going to use it during that. Let's not save. We're fine. Oh, dang, I thought it was a different room. This is the room you cannot avoid this guy. So this was the spell that we took from Gino when I did that last swap glitch. And the game, as you can tell, doesn't know what to do, so Peach just turns into Gino and casts the spell. There's that extra level I really wanted. I'm gonna swap back now. There it is. So we have just Amulet on Peach because we want her to go last. This guy you can avoid if you get the jump here. There we go. And then we just find a Toad who runs a shop, an inn, an armory. He has it all, actually. Just be safe. Let's get our FP a little higher. Replenish it. Save here in case something goes wrong. So in the boss coming up, in this route, normally you wouldn't want Mario to attack first because you want him to be boosted first. But because he has Super Suit, you really don't care. We're just gonna punch him to death. And then this is our dragon. And by punch, I mean, you know, jump on him until he's dust. So because he's oscillating up and down, timing the jumps is really hard. That is not ideal. Hope that doesn't kill Peach. So there's two phases to this fight. Once we get past this first one, he dies, but a skeleton version of him takes his place, which is even more terrifying. But he's susceptible to Mute, which is a spell we're about to use with Peach. And if this works, he won't be able to cast spells. It did not work. Because then you won't have to deal with this, which is probably going to kill Peach. Devastating. I do think Mario is just still so overtuned and so strong that it doesn't matter, but I'm going to continue it as if, you know, what I would do in a normal route. Nice. So you have to swirl the D-pad there. That's how you make it work. So I must not have swirled enough. So that would have feared Mario, but Super Suit makes him immune to that. Perfect. Alright. With Peach Feather, we want her to attack quickly. And here we go. Just kidding, it's the Power Rangers. Oh, did I mention they have a giant robot ship? So this is typically a very mess of a fight, but because we gave everyone on our team things that increase their speed, all my guys are gonna go first, and we're gonna use items that just cause damage to everyone, and just try to knock as many of them out as possible. Because Gino's wearing Troopa Pin, he's gonna throw a rock candy, so it doesn't do 200, it's gonna do 300. But a freebie would be nice. Shame. Here's where that extra firebomb came in. So here we're gonna boost Mario, and there's a second phase of this fight. Once you knock them all down, you have to fight that robot head in the back. And Mario's just gonna solo it. So here we're okay with it taking its turn right away. Again, because Mario is he's just a monster. Takes one turn to recharge. So we just lay into it. It only has 999 health, I believe, and we've already done like 840, 830. Perfect. And now we're moving into the end game. That was the last star that doesn't include Bowser's Keep. So we're going back here, talking to Gino's family, and they'll give us the rights to use, what was it, like the Cloud Bus, the Nimbus Bus, some cloud-based vehicle that will fly us over to Bowser's Keep. So a trick I'm going to be doing coming up here is when you get to Bowser's Keep, a few rooms into it, you're going to be presented with 6 doors, and behind each of them is a different challenge, and you have to do 4 of the 6 to continue. But if we do some RNG manipulation, you can force certain doors to be certain things, because 2 of the doors are going to be puzzles, 2 of the doors are going to be fights, 2 of the doors are going to be platforming, I believe, and we don't want to do any of the battle ones. Those will take a while, they're going to be tricky, just a bad time. So we're going to do go back to Mario's pad after we get to Bowser's Keep the first time. We're going to save there, reset, and then restart the file. And then as we're leaving Mario's pad, we have to just run down until we hit the wall. And the moment we hit the wall, we hold down and right and run out. And then the RNG is set. And then we only have to do doors 1, 2, 4, and 5. Because 3 and 6 will be the battle doors. So the first door I'm going to be doing when we do get in there is going to be a quiz-based puzzle, I guess. But all of the quiz questions are in Japanese, so it will take me a little bit to solve each of them, because I'm going to be having to look at a big chart. Alright, so go back to Mario's pad. We got to manipulate that RNG. You save, and you do LR start select, and it soft resets. And then when we get in, we're going to hold down until we hit the wall, and then we're going to hold right. And then we're set. That's all we had to do. It's got to run through the renovated Bowser's Keep. And Crocco's a nice guy now. You know, we're just going to save. You never know. If you talk to him, he's opened up a shop and he'll try to help you. Nope, we do not need a description. So 1 should be the quiz room. Dr. Topper's questions. I don't need an explanation. The timer doesn't start until you get past this, click A after you ask the question, so I'm gonna have to look it up, because I'm not fluent in Japanese. We have to get enough right that the platform moves us to the very top. And every time you get one wrong, it moves you down 1. So if you get too many wrong, you have to reset. Just the quiz, though. Yeah, these are tough. There's flashcards out there. I need to study and, memorize all this, but to me, practicing the 100 super jumps is taking a lot more priority than this part. But boy, howdy, if we could just get through this. Ooh, smooth sailing. I just have to get 2 more. Allegedly. One more? Question mark? Perfect. So here we have to guess how many barrels are going to be there. 15. So the trick with this is you'll notice some of the barrels are slightly darker. So like there's a base amount and then they add those other ones on top of it. So I saw 3 that were slightly darker, like they got added later, and then the base is 12. So here the base is 43, and then you look for the ones that are slightly darker, add that. So I see 1 on the left top and 1 on the right and the second from the top. So it'd be 45. The next is a word puzzle. So he's telling me these 4 creatures have been in a marathon. They're going to give you some information about where they place, and you got to figure out what order they got in the overall marathon. I'm just going to look at a chart. Depending on what they said, I'll be like, because normally they're like, I got second in the swimming event, but I got first in the biking event. You're like, well, that doesn't help. So this Goomba got 4th overall. Dry Bones got 1st, I believe. Yes. So it goes 4th, 1st, 3rd. 4th, 1st, 3rd. You got 1st. The guy we didn't ask got 2nd. Wonderful. Now we're on to the other puzzle. So in this game, there's 21 coins in this chest. You can take between 1 and 4 out at a time. You just have to make sure he takes the 21st. We're at 5. Because he needs to... Wait, we're at 6. I think we're at 10 now. 12, 13, 14, 15. Should be at 20, so he should be getting 21st. Yep. Yeah, the quiz is hard. I struggled with all of this as a child. When I first played this game, I was like, this is impossible. It's like, well, no, it's actually pretty simple. Here we just have to keep hopping these over one another until there's only one left. Nice, we took care of that. I'll get to the platforming rooms. We also get to stock up on items. Fright bombs, fire bombs, ice bombs, all that kind of good stuff. So there's a red essence in that far left one, which you normally wouldn't have to get in a more advanced route, but we're being safe. We want the item over here, which is a firebomb. It's a nice little Donkey Kong section. So if I hug far enough... Oh! I was trying to do a trick where if you hug really far left up there, you can run past the Donkey Kong. And you don't get the cutscene where he's like, oh my gosh, who are you? Dang. You won't get that, you just run right into the door and he just keeps throwing. And this room has a change in physics. So if anyone has ever played Super Ghouls and or Ghosts, however you want to say it, where your momentum in your jump is just held. So you can't hold back after each of these jumps or hold forward. You're stuck in your momentum. So you have to always get these just right. And that's the difficulty of that room. Is everywhere else in the game I can like jump and hold back like that, or jump and hold forward. This room, the trick is controls are inverted. So left is right, up is down. Grabbing this. We're trying to get the two chests on the far right, and then one at the right at the very end. I think I could make this jump and hit it and land, but ain't about that. Okay, nice. So we did this was our fourth room, so now there's a door here instead of in front of us, and you just fall. So we got Peach's super slap out of one of those we did. Safety room. Okay. Nice. There's no way I can really die to this next boss, but again, we're just saving. We're cruising overall. So we're running into an evil Magic Koopa, who is susceptible to fright bombs, so we're going to do that. Because if you don't end the fight after your second round, Magic Koopa will spawn an enemy, and you have to defeat that enemy before you can start damaging Magic Koopa again, so we kind of want to get that one phase, kind of. Super Suit should make it a joke, though. Perfect. That Magic Koopa becomes uncorrupted and notices what's going on. As a reward, we get a chest that has a single gold coin in it that you can just hit forever. So if we go on the left door, it'll actually be Croco, because he set up shop there, but we're just trying to move on. So every time one of these lands, freezes you in place, so that's a little tricky there. This room should look familiar from the beginning of the game. Instead of fighting Bowser, we're fighting, I don't know what its Japanese name is, but in English, this boss is called Boomer. Which is just a samurai that fights you on a chandelier. Yeah, just Boomer. He keeps trying to cast a one-hit KO move. But we're just gonna probably... Oh, as long as he doesn't take down... That's unlucky. Almost jump on him. So he normally has two phases. He'll, enrage, but instead it just makes him more susceptible to physical attacks. But we might just kill him for that even happens. Yeah. So normally he would turn blue after you do a certain amount of damage. Or after a set number of turns. I really don't know. Because I normally just jump on him and he just ceases to exist. So here he wanted to be honorable, so he cut his own chandelier after being defeated. When you're just like, no, you don't have to. Nope. So it's taking us up to the top of the castle, where we're gonna fight Exor, which is that giant sword from the beginning of the game. So there's a fun trick you can do on Exor, because he has a left eye, right eye, mouth, and then a little eyes on his hilt. But the actual boss is the eyes at the very top, but they never programmed him as a boss. So if you do a timed attack with Geno Whirl, it does 999 damage to non-boss enemies, and it's not considered a boss. So we have to break one of these eyes, which makes the top part of him susceptible to damage. And then we're going to Geno Whirl the top and try to one-shot him. And that's Exor. Yeah, Dave, I never understood the dance sequence either. They're just very happy that this samurai just died. I was like, guys, relax. Yeah, see, this is even more nightmare fuel. So we got sucked inside of the sword, which apparently is an alternate dimension that is just clad in metal. We're gonna get a lot of boss fights coming up. We're getting right at the tail end of the game, where we're just dealing with all the big baddies. No. Sure. I'm feeling pretty safe with Super Suit right now, though. I'm gonna grab this. It's the Ultra Hammer. It's a better weapon for Mario. Here, we only have to jump this once, as long as we get good. Oh, I didn't get the good hop there. I'm gonna try it again. Give the Ultra Hammer to Mario. Now I have to fight a giant clock. Got a red essence Peach here. Again, I'm going to do the same turn order as I would have had if I only had Attack Scarf. How many rock candies do we have? Probably enough. Ooh, no. We need to boost Mario here. Mario and Peach are definitely the carries right now. Can you not hit Gino? Thank you. Don't hit Gino. Unless he has safety ring. Perfect. I think I just have to hit each of them once. I lost track of how many rock candies I have. Wonderful. Yeah, I should have saw that coming. We can just take care of the bells. This fight gets a lot easier. Perfect. So because he healed last turn, gives us a free attack. I put Peach to sleep. That's fine too. Again, we're just leaning into Mario right now. Perfect. As they're all dead. And put her to permanent sleep, correct? And then she just gets up like nothing happened. Ah, sorry, Bowser. You're in the Mallow territory. Sorry, Mallow, you're also in Mallow territory. Okay. Nice. Swap some accessories. So there's like a little wrong warp I can do up here, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it, because I don't fully understand what makes it work. But you can like fall at a... Oh, that might have caused it to mess up. No. In I think 2 rooms from now, you can fall off without touching a certain conveyor, and it will... if I hold up right here and run, it might put me at the very end of this room. Shucks. I think it's because I fell down at an earlier spot. But it would let you skip this whole section. You just get put right at the end of the room. Yeah, it would put you out right here. So as we're noticing, a bunch of the bosses we saw earlier in the game are getting made in this factory. No. Please let me run away. We're just taking it nice and slow. Just want to get through. If you're really trying to go fast, you can kind of hop over them as they're moving certain ways and this and that. There's also little tricks you can do to hop over those boyers as they fall down. So we do have to fight this guy, because if we defeat him while he's on that block, it'll go away. And he's significantly stronger than his counterpart. Maybe not in the HP department, but definitely the spell department. Alright. Heal up. Get our FP back. Swap some accessories here. So depending on which of these guys you try to defeat first, it'll go to a different phase where you have to fight one more guy. And his strengths and weaknesses will be dependent upon which of these is still alive. So in the fastest route, you defeat the mage one, so then you can super jump the second guy. But in the attack scarf route, you just take down the melee guy, and then you just punch just like use Mario to just beat the snot out of the second guy. We're just trying our best to turn this guy to dust real quick. Perfect. So because the mage guy is alive, there's gonna be a lot more spell cast in this phase, but we have that extra red essence we picked up in that platforming section of Bowser's Keep. So even without the super suit, if you only have the attack scarf, you can just red essence Mario and he just takes care of just rolls over it. Yeah, it's a giant snake for, again, a freebie. Freebie on a red essence, which we probably won't use. But it's nice. Ooh, did I do a local? The word of the run is perfect. I don't think we're moving that fast. That's why I didn't start any timer. I did a lot of extra saves, kind of slowed down in a few parts. I haven't even looked at what time has been going on so far. Been having fun. Having fun running my favorite game. Perfect. Oh yeah, we gotta make a lot of... We have a little boss rush coming up here. Actually, pretty sure you just put Feather on here. We still need Peach to just slam the DPS. Because now we're in the factory that everything that we've fought in the game is being made from. So I need to defeat 2 of these, because the third one will run away. Ooh, nope. Need more power. So even though we forcefully stole Geno Blast from Geno and gave it to Peach, he still learned it on his own. It's just significantly weaker. So the name of these mini-bosses, or, you know, we'll just call them bosses that we're going through right now on the English. That was the clerk, now we're coming up to the manager, then the director, and then the factory chief. So, it makes sense what we're going through right now. We have a toad that caught up with us that's going to be able to sell us items. Which we shouldn't need too many, because again, Mario's a beast. Try to sell a few of my extra items. Don't need an able juice. Only 2 of those. We freebied so many fright bombs. Actually. So you can buy max mushrooms from this guy. So we're gonna stock up. A couple pick-me-ups. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna get crazy. We have 1 Curo Cola, 2. Okay, this run's looking great. So he gave us 1 rock candy, which we'd like to have. That was that consume we were throwing for 200 damage. Says if you look at the assembly line in the back, you'll see them be slowly getting made as we're going more and more into the factory. It's always a nice little touch. So normally we boost Mario there, because it would ideally be Geno's turn first, but Mario's just so fast with Super Suit. So it's going to be a little off. But again, we're in no danger. I always thought it was interesting that it doesn't even do the boss music when you're fighting these guys. It does like you're fighting small fry music. Now we're on to the director and then the factory chief after this. Seconds. My guys are attacking a little out of order, but that's fine. We're just gonna abuse those extra sleep bombs we bought at the beginning of the game. And they freebied, which we don't need more of them. Ideally, you would not allow him to do this, but I think because Mario just does so much damage, it kind of phased him. But then Mario does so much damage, it doesn't matter. Well, why not? I don't think anything's gonna happen, but these are gonna be a little out of order, because again, doing the attack scarf route, but we have super suit, so it's weird. Because we want to boost Mario right off the rip, but instead Mario's just gonna go first and not care. But we have so many extra ice bombs that I don't even care. If they freebie, still don't care. Oh, by the way, this is the factory chief and his tank. Factory chief apparently is a ninja. Oh, let's see, we have a lot of extra ice bombs, so we can just abuse them. Actually, how much of... Oh, we have a lot of everything. We're eating good. We're eating very good. Perfect. And that's the factory chief. Now we're moving on to the final boss. You know what? I'll throw Mallow a bone. So ideally we won't want Mario to go first. What are you gonna do? This should still work out just fine. Like, we're so over-leveled for this route. So we're on to Smithy. Who's a Santa robot, I guess. So ideally, Gino would have went first, but the super suit's throwing it off for this route. And that's fine. He's a Dwarven Mountain King. True. So I'm just going to stick to the plan as if we didn't have super suit, just to showcase what kind of goes down. Oh, we didn't get the defense up there. That's bad. I don't even know that you could fail that. This is fine. So we really just have to hit the Shy Guy on a pogo stick one time. So here we're supposed to rock can, but because we stick to the plan. Let's just assume everything went wrong, and we're just gonna continue like it's all fine. Showcasing that we're gonna stay cool as a cucumber. I would really like to have defense up. So ideally we would use a Curacola here, but I think we're fine. Actually, we probably should have. We might be in danger. So we wanted to use a Curacola there to get our FP back, because now we can't super jump. So I might just have to clobber this guy and just kind of move on with my life. Dang! There's a second phase of this fight, and we just want to make sure everyone's boosted going into it. We'll use that Curacola now. There we go. So he phased with it being Peach's turn next, so she can just use Group Hug and heal everyone back up. So all we really did in that first phase was just kind of piss him off. So in this phase, I'll try to do a few super jumps, but with this route, you kind of just, pummel him to death. So one thing he's going to do is he's going to keep switching the shape of his head, which will change what he's susceptible to and what kind of spells he's going to cast. So we'll respond accordingly. So he's a tank head. He just kind of pounds out DPS. Yeah, we're not too good at that yet. Leave her alone. I'm just kind of banking on Gino gets a turn. I'll just showcase the regular way of doing it with this. If you just had attack scarf, the route kind of would just assume you went super jump him to death. We're just gonna pummel him. I'll give him the business. I missed it by a little bit. Honestly, I think I'm fine just here. Yeah, let's just heal up. Wonderful. So here he's going to cast a lot of spells that hurt, but he's very susceptible to physical damage. Let's use this to get our FP back. Could have got another attack in and used Kirakola with Peach, but... Eh. Ooh, that's nice. So he's susceptible to fire damage if he looks like a chest head. And we have extra fire bombs. So this head, I think, just does like status ailments. I could be wrong though. We're just gonna be safe. I don't know what's gonna happen. This is fine. This is actually fine. One of his heads will cast something called Shredder, which just removes all of our like defense ups and attacks ups, and we don't want that. So as long as he doesn't do that, we're fine. You know what, we're gonna say Gino's fine. Gino's a good kid. I think we're getting near the end. I was gonna Kirakola, get our FP back as well. She's fine. Ooh. And that's it. So the timer doesn't stop until the credits end, but that is essentially Super Mario RPG. And then we just kick back, watch the credits, or if Dave wishes to intervene, he may. Thanks for all the GGs. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to chat for the past 15 minutes. I just assumed Dave was on that. So if we beat it at 3:22, it's like 11 minutes. It's like a 3:33. It's decent. IPB is 323 and some change. And the world record is 246 and some change. Let me see. Pretty sure I saw Just Incredible in here recently. He's the world record holder right now. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 246.15. So I still have a lot of work to do to catch up, but there's also just, there's a lot to learn, a lot of RNG, and learn how to deal with it. It's tough. The game is just so fun and so whimsical that no matter what happens, I find myself just going through to the end. Like if I don't get super suit, I just continue. I'll do the attack scarf, But hopefully that shows to people who've always been interested in the run that... So I did the attack scarf route, which means you only have to do 31 jumps. You can just get into it, no matter what happens. My first run was, I think, 6.5 hours, and there was no jumps involved. A lot of mistakes, a lot of learning, and you work it down to 4 hours. And you don't even have to play in Japanese, because that only saves about 9 minutes with all the tech saves. And just have fun with it. Yeah, it did bring everyone together. Yeah, thanks for all the GGs. We have about, 9 more minutes of credits to just enjoy the game and hang out. If Dave wants to say a few words, I won't stop him. If not, just watch what happened to everyone's lives, and it goes through everyone in the game and shows you what happened. Yeah, Dave's speech. Well, before that happens, thanks, Dave, for letting me run. I haven't been running this game for terribly long, but it was quite the opportunity to just showcase, not the fastest route, but just something with a great game. Because from here on out, I'm just going to kick back and enjoy the credits.
Well, that was a great run and a great showing and a great finish, so thank you very much. And I'm also duplicating myself, so I'll be back really quickly. Okay, we no longer made a twin of myself, which would be a horrible thing in this world. Anything you want to say first?
No, I'm all ears. I'm just sticking around because you still need my feed.
I mean, not necessarily. I get that it's super late, so... But if you want to let the credits roll, you can. If not, I can totally transition to a different stream so you can... Or scene, sorry.
I'm wide awake still. I'm okay letting this roll. It's quite the credits, especially for those who never seen it before.
I always liked them. As a kid, I liked them a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Way more wholesome than weird games. Oh, man. Well, I mean, to kill two birds with one stone, Kat and I would like to thank everybody that kind of helped in terms of offering things to run for the marathon. When we kind of set out to kind of organize something, I thought maybe originally like handful people might have submitted something. To have like 60 plus things that were submitted, I think the original count was like 87 or something. Like that far exceeded any expectations at all. So that was a lot. And yeah, it was enough to fill like 5 full days, which is crazy. I think what was particularly interesting is I think it shows the kindness of people. Like, nobody knows actually what happened to me, but people were willing to help. So I think that says a lot. So thank you everybody for helping. Definitely appreciate that. See, that's where we get emotional. Yeah, in terms of a more objective thing, we had a lot of fun. It was just me and Kat that organized this entire thing. You know, she basically did 50%, I did 50%. And, yeah. We would definitely do it again. And thank you guys all for participating. It was a very fun weekend. Yeah. Actually, I guess that synced up pretty well. It's a pretty good run that's only 10 minutes off your PB, considering everything bad that can potentially happen in this one. But we actually know how to split on this game, even though we can't run it ourselves yet. You're welcome, guys. It was really fun. Like, Kat and I had a lot of fun. As I said, we would totally do something like this again. Not necessarily in a kind of fundraising way, but just literally came for Goof Troop and got Dave. Yeah, we would totally set up another event. It was a very fun experience. Yeah, we will definitely do that. We're getting pretty tired. I can transition you off into this little thing that we made last minute. Literally, Kat did it right before she went to sleep, so I thought that was really cute. We can switch here. So you're free from the feed. And yeah, thank you guys for taking part. It's again a really fun experience. Game audio is all over the place right now. So I'm not quite sure what's being captured. Oh, apparently this thing broke. How do we really fix it with like 1 second left? There we go. See, we fixed it. Yeah, it has been a very good experience, so thank you guys. TD, is there anyone you want to raid specifically? I think you should have that choice if there's someone on right now. But all us. Where do we go then? That's pretty interesting. You know, actually, one thing that I really liked about this marathon in particular is it highlighted some smaller streamers. Like, really 100%. You know, follow TD. He had like a 410 or something originally, and he knocked it down to a 320, which I think is great. There's quite a few people that were just in here, you know, like someone else had like 40 followers and stuff, so I really like kind of giving a platform or an opportunity for the littler guys to kind of showcase their stuff. But who is on at this ungodly hour when I normally don't stream? I think we'll say hi to Pika. Pika ran in the event. He ran Turtles 2 earlier, and he also ran Pizza Cats. And he's very Russian, but very friendly, and I like him a lot too. 3 days of Goof Troop. Okay, deal. Yeah. Kat and I again say thanks, and if you're in the Discord, I mean, at this point, we were gonna ask, you know, general feedback and stuff like that. If anybody had anything, if not, don't worry about it. But yeah, again, thank you guys very much. I guess the final total or something was like 18, 17, which is just insane. I literally expected nothing. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, go say hi to Pika. He's a really friendly guy. Yeah, thanks again. Really appreciate it.